Hello and welcome to the Climbing Daily Friday Gear Show, and welcome to my very special guest on today's Friday Gear Show, Lary. Lary, you are an EpicTV athlete, you're a climber. Just tell us a bit about yourself and where you are in the world right now.
Hi, Matt. Well, yeah, as you say, I'm a climber, actually, mainly sport climbing. And yeah, at the moment I am in Catalonia. I am from Mexico. I've been climbing for 8 years now. And yeah, I'm very excited to be finally here because it was like my biggest dream to finish my university and finally come here to find like the best sport climbing routes. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I have to ask you, for everyone watching at home, what are the conditions like in Spain at the moment? Is it good sending temperatures and conditions?
At the moment, it's going pretty well. Some like the last 2 weeks, it was a bit too humid. But to be honest, I'm coming from Mexico. I can't complain about the conditions. So everybody is like, oh no, it's horrible. It's humid. I am like, it's perfect for me. And yeah, I think the next weeks is going to be way better. Everybody at the moment here is training hard to have projects in the next few months.
Do you have a current project? What are you working on at the moment?
At the moment, I don't have a project. At the moment, I have been like going one day to just do quick sends and to work on my on-site and flashing. And yeah, one day of rock climbing, I'm doing that. And another day, I am trying projects to see what I'm going to train for in the summer. Yeah, because I love having like a hard project that requires a special training or something like that. So yeah, the moment I am exploring routes, trying a lot, and yeah, to see what I'm going to choose.
Awesome. Now, before we talk about gear, because it is the gear show, I just wanted to chat about the movie that you have on EpicTV, because you're now an EpicTV athlete and you're working with some of our filmmakers, and that film was released this week on EpicTV. So just tell us a little bit about that film, because it's the first part of a series of films.
Well, to be honest, this film is something really new for me because I was not expecting to do this. I just get the proposal of start doing this for my friend which made all this contact with EpicTV. Yeah, basically he asked me if he could have like access to be filming what I'm going to doing through this year, because he was interested of like why I wanted to do, why did I came from Mexico and what I'm looking for here in Spain. So I was like talking a lot to him about this, and he got really interested to film all this process. And yeah, we have been planning what are we going to film. And I can't tell you so much because then I'm going to ruin the movie.
That is very true. And if you want to watch that movie, there's a link down below so you can check it all out. Okay, let's move on to gear. Now, you are predominantly, or we're going to be predominantly talking about sport climbing today. So let's talk about shoes, one of my favorite topics. You're a La Sportiva athlete, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so which La Sportiva shoes do you tend to use the most?
Well, that's a hard question because I don't have like one specific shoe that I am always wearing, because it all depends of the climb. And initially I was really into the Miura shoes because that was like the shoe that I had been using when I learned how to climb. But now I think at the moment my favorite shoe I could say is the Skwama, because I think it's a really versatile shoe. But I also really love the solution, especially since I arrived here to Spain. I get like a special relationship with my solutions. And yeah, it's crazy. I also love talking about shoes. About shoes. It's a topic that I really enjoy. Yeah, I think at the moment I can say I am using mostly solution and Skwama.
Okay, cool. And stiffness wise, because the solution's always known as kind of a downturn but quite a stiff shoe, and I just wondered, how does that compare to the Skwama? Do you feel the differences between those two models, and which kind of climbs do you use one on specifically?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question because both shoes are really downturned, like they have this shape. Both are both have the same aggressive point, which I really like, and I think is really important for like high level routes. I think harder than 8A, you will really appreciate to have that form. And yeah, it's crazy. I didn't really knew the difference until a few months ago that I was trying my highest grade in this route called Caleborroca. Roca. So initially I tried this route with the solutions because this route is divided in two sections. You have firstly like a 8A plus section with big moves and really steep climbing, like physical and yeah, basically overhanging terrain. And after that, you have another section which is like vertical climbing. So I thought, I'm going to use my solutions because it's mainly like super overhang roof. I need to climb all this part really efficient to arrive to the crux, which is the boulder in this vertical wall. So I was trying, yeah, I was climbing really efficient this part. But when I was arriving to the crux, I was always falling because the crux was this move in where I had to hold really small crimps and like hold that position for 2 or 3 seconds to move my feet to a really high and not so good foothold. So then, like after a few tries falling off there, I realized that the time it was taking me to positionate my feet there, like that time that I was using, was really crucial. So I swiped to the Squamas, and I stopped trying with the solution to start trying with the Squamas. At the start, that overhanging terrain, it wasn't as easy like with the solutions. But then I realized that that crux and that few seconds for reaching that foothold, that really small kind of sloppy foothold in the vertical wall, I was able to do it faster with the Skwama because the point is not like, you don't have to be as precise with the solutions. Yeah. So at the end, I think the difference with with these shoes is that the Skwama like is still aggressive, but the tip of the shoe is more like round, a bit more soft, that allows you to get a foothold in less time.
Interesting. That's fascinating. Okay, so shoes covered. Let's talk about Quickdraws, because again, Petzl athlete, so you've got that range of Petzl gear to use from. What's your Quickdraw of choice, and why have you picked that one?
I have them here. I use the Spirits. And I think I really like these Quickdraws because I like so much like the size. I think is perfect because they are not too short but also not too long. I like the Quickdraws which have like this form in the textile. So in hard routes when you just can't clip, it's easy just like to pull.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Don't worry, that's something I do a lot.
That's really important because there's other Quickdraws with this part really thin and it's horrible. I'm always afraid to like fall and cut my hand or something. Yeah, I also like the carabiner because it's easy to clip with my thumb.
Yeah, let me ask you something, because weight is a funny one with Quickdraws, because usually when we're red pointing something, they're in the wall. But you mentioned earlier that you're trying to on-site a lot of things. Do you find that weight is a consideration for you, or is it something that doesn't really bother you?
To be honest, I think it's something doesn't really bother me, but I think these draws also are not like too heavy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I rather prefer these Quickdraws, which have like a good size, and they are like, I guess my hand is used to this carabiner, so I can easily like, I think I'm familiarized with these Quickdraws.
Okay, cool. Well, moving on into the thing you clip the Quickdraws to, which is your harness itself. Are you sort of in the fast, light, red pointing style of harness, or do you like something a little bit more comfortable? What do you wear?
To be honest, I use both. I have like my red point harness, which is the Sita from Petzl. It's like really compact, light, and comfortable. But also for belaying, I like to use like the Luna or the Selena, which is like a way more comfortable harness, especially for belaying. Because me as a girl, normally I am belaying people way more heavy than me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And do you wear women's specific harnesses? Is that something you've always done, or because I know some women who wear like unisex harnesses, some who wear women's specific harnesses. Does it make a big difference to how it feels and the cut of it for you?
Yeah, I think for me it's important. For example, with the Luna or the Selena, it matters for me also the size of the leg, because with other harnesses, which are for men, the size of the leg can be different. And yeah, to have really adjusted that part, I think just like in long term feels more comfortable when you are belaying.
Okay, that's interesting. And then rope wise, because I mean, I'm one of those people who's really bad with my ropes. I sort of use and abuse them. I'm guilty of throwing it in the dirt, in the dust. I've recently started using a rope bag more, which is good, but I'm definitely guilty of using and abusing my ropes a bit. Which Petzl rope do you use for most general climbing?
Well, at the moment, I am using a Volta 9.2 because, well, the last few months I was red pointing. And yeah, to be honest, like, I think it's a good size, like, diameter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, like, is not too thin that it can be like dangerous. But yeah, to be honest, like I'm careful with my rope because it's thin and I try to not like put so much weight on it. So if I am just like trying a route by the first time, I'm like pushing and going direct to the boat with my harness because I don't want to like be killing my rope too fast.
That's fair enough. We've all seen those horror videos of ropes getting shredded on sharp edges. So I guess it's one of those things you have to pay attention to, especially as you say, if you've got something quite thin.
Yeah, also something really important for me is like to have a really long rope because normally it's like I can see something like old on my rope and I'm really paranoid, like, I don't know, I'm gonna fly and it's going to tear and I'm gonna die. So I am always like cutting and cutting my rope. I think every week at the moment I'm cutting my rope. So I prefer to have a really long rope. So yeah, it lasts more time.
Okay, so if we had to talk about, have you got something in your crag bag or the bag you take climbing that isn't necessarily gear, but is essential to your climbing? So for me, it has to be fizzy sweets and coffee. Unless I have fizzy sweets and coffee in my bag, I'm going to have a bad day, whatever happens. But for you, is there something you take with you, if it's food or drink or something that's vital for your climbing?
Yeah, sure. I am really into like warming up devices. And I love peanut butter. So you can, most of the time, find some peanut butter on my backpack.
Is that straight out of the jar or onto bread first?
Yeah, sometimes I have like my jar of peanut butter or normally like a grab with peanut butter or a sandwich with peanut butter. Tea. I always have also tea in my either flask or like, to keep hot because I'm always normally cold. And yeah, like some creams for my hands for after climbing and before, like um friction things like the dry for monkey hands or yeah.
Okay, so skincare stuff, tea, and peanut butter. That sounds perfect to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so advice time. Do you have any advice for someone who sort of, let's say they're projecting something or red pointing a route up to where their limit is? Do you have any tips that you could share with us for sending that route?
Tips for sending a route. Something that have been helping me a lot to get that focus that I need before having an important red point, I think is actually meditation. Yeah, I have now like 2 years doing meditation because I'm the kind of person that really struggle to get focused and to have my attention in only one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, normally like when I am red pointing super something important and hard, I'm like thinking in a lot of things like the condition, my layer, this person I are arriving to. Oh no, my shoes have this. So yeah, I think meditation is like an habit that you can do to help you to focus in one thing, which is your root.
That is very good advice, actually, because I think I'm the same as you. I have so many things going round and round and round in my brain that it's really hard to switch that off sometimes. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question now because I need some help on something. I get so nervous when I'm past the crux of a route. You know, when you've done the hard bit, okay, and you're like, all right, I've done it. I've really done it. I've now just got to do the 6B or the 6C or whatever ending. And I find mentally, I sort of go to pieces. Like I start getting really worried. I start thinking I'm going to drop the route at that point. Do you have any tips for me? How can I deal with this like mental thing that I have when I get
Yeah.
past the crux?
But does that happen when the crux, like, I think it also depends a lot of the route. Does that happen to you when the crux is like in the middle of the road, on the lower part, or like
Yeah,
when it's
it's when I've done the crux. Like let's say it's midway through. So I've done the crux, I've done the hard bit, the bit I always fall off on. And then I'm like, okay, I have easy or easier climbing to go. I just find I get so nervous about the easy climbing because I think I've done the route and I want to get it done. And I'm just bad at it. So I just didn't know if you had any advice for me.
well, I don't know if I am the best person to give you advice for this, but because I think this also happens sometimes to me quite often. But like something that I think when I am at that point in where I am like in the resting after the crossing, when I'm thinking I can't feel here.
Yeah.
I start thinking like, okay, if I did it, if I arrive once through here, and I did already the crux, that means I can do it again and again and again. So if I'm going to fall in the next section, I can just come down, eat peanut butter, rest, and go again. Yeah, so that gave me like a lot of confidence that allows me to breathe more, to focus again on my sequence and to go to the anchors. I think I've like doesn't happen to me often to fail off after the crux. Can be a traumatic situation for you if that has been happening to you often.
It is a traumatic situation. It's mainly because I don't think I can ever do the crux again. So I'm just like, this is my one chance to get this done.
Yeah.
I can't mess it up. Cool.
No, you can do it again if you did it already.
Cool. Well, Lary, thank you so much for chatting to me today. We'll be seeing more of you because you're going to be doing some more filming and stuff with us. And if you guys watching at home have any questions for Lary, her Instagram, that's linked down below as well. So I'm sure you can go on there, follow her, and all of the gear that she's chatting about today, the Petzl gear, the La Sportiva stuff. I'll stick a link in down below for general stuff on the Epic TV shop so you can check that out. Lary, thank you so much. Real pleasure chatting to you today. Thank you. And good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll see you later, Lary. Bye.
Ciao.